What's up, friends? I'm Jasmine, and we are starting a new game. This is Cities Skylines. This is PlayStation 4 edition. I'm playing on my PlayStation 5. And if you're familiar with our channel, you probably know that for the most part, we only include videos about Planet Coaster. And I thought I would want to kind of start something new with City Skylines. I just wanted to preface this to say that I am not an expert in this game. I just thought if you love the game like I do, maybe you would be interested in watching how I play the game. I do not use mods for this game since I am on console, but I do have some DLCs installed. So you can see on the screen the DLCs that I use. For the most part, the main ones that I use are Park Life, the Green Cities, Campus, Plazas, um, and the industries, and mass transit. Okay, all of those. Mass transit and natural disasters. But I wanted to kind of show you the options that I have when playing the game. So I have the maps for the plazas and promenades. I also have a map pack. I am not really familiar with these maps. I have not used them before. So I thought maybe I would try using one of these for this video series. Um, I think there is one that I have used in another city that I've been playing, and I want to say I know it was a tropical one. Maybe it was this one. Um, it may have been this tropical pass one. But I think I want to do one of these plazas and promenades maps. And if you are new to the game, just some things you might want to consider when looking or starting a new city and looking at a map. You kind of want to look at the natural resources that are available, how much water is available, and that suitable area for building will be really important. If you're brand new to the game, I suggest you want to have that suitable area for building pretty large. So, like this 89%, that would be absolutely perfect because you won't have to worry too much about building bridges or using a lot of ferries or anything like that. Um, so that might be a good one to start with. I think I'm going to go with this one, this Oracle Lake one. It does have a pretty significant amount of natural resources, and there's a little bit of water, not, a ton, but I think this might be a good one to start with. City name. Now, that is probably one of the most difficult decisions when playing this game is trying to come up with a name. So I have not looked at names, but I'm just going to look very quickly on my maps. What I like to do is I like to open my maps app on my phone, and I'll just randomly select like a major city. So since this map kind of has mountains in it, I'm just going to look around the Knoxville, Tennessee area because I know that area has some mountains, and hopefully we can come up with a name that might work. So on my, let's see, on my map here, and one thing you can do is you can kind of like mix and match names. One name that's I'm immediately drawn to is Sweetwater. That's kind of a cool name. There's also, I said also Plain View, that's kind of an interesting name. Baneberry, that's kind of interesting. Um, I really like Sweetwater. I think that might be a good one. Sweetwater City or just Sweetwater? Sweetwater Ridge. Oh, I think I like that. I think that's the name that I'm going to go with. Okay, so we have an option to do left-hand traffic, which I'm not going to do. Um, I am going to keep my random disaster frequency pretty low, and I do want to use the dynamic weather. I'm not going to use the day-night cycle right now just because we're starting a new city, and sometimes when it's nighttime, it's kind of hard to see what you're doing. So with that, we'll start the game. Okay, so we are in Sweetwater Ridge. This is the first menu that kind of pops up when you start a new map. And it's basically just telling you, like, you need to start building some roads, you need to add some zoning, and just to get started with the game. So I'm going to close out of that. There are a couple of things that you can do when you first start out on your city. You can see here that this is the kind of entry point into the city from the highway. We also have some water here, and we really want to look at where the water is flowing. So you can probably tell the water is flowing to the left this way. That's going to be really important when we place down our water pump and our sewage line. We also have a lot of trees here. This might be good for forestry industry. And then over here, I can already tell this kind of light green pattern. This is good for farming. So one thing we can do is we can look really quick at the info views. You can see a lot of different things, but we're going to go down to our natural resources. And this kind of tells us that, yes, there's some fertile land here for farming. Green is for forest, which there's really not a lot there. We don't really have any oil at all in this area. And then right over here, beyond our city limits right now, we have some ore. So that is that. Another thing you might want to look at is the wind. So this is going to be important if you're placing down some wind turbines. The darker areas are where the wind is strongest. So that's going to be pretty important for us. You can see here we have in the water, and then right here beyond the highway entry point. So probably the there's like a little deck there. Probably the most important step when you are starting out your city is determining how you are going to make a transition from your highway to your road into the city. So there's a little bit of a trick here that you can do. We don't have any options other than this 2-lane road. Everything else is locked. You can see there. So we're just going to make a very little small road there. That automatically unlocks some things. So I'm just going to delete that very quickly. And this is just one way that I like to make an entrance. But we're going to find this here, this 2-lane one-way road. We also have this one that comes with wide sidewalks. I think, yeah, they cost the same, so it's really up to you which one you want to use. And then we also have this 2-lane gravel road. So I'm just going to start here with the normal 2-lane one-way road. And I'm just going to kind of make a little, a little bit of a diagonal here. Oh, let's see. Another thing is that we've unlocked is this medium roads. The couple of large roads. We have this one way, and then we have a small roundabout. So we are limited with how much we can spend right now. We already spent a little bit on that little tiny bit of road, but you could possibly use the roundabout if you wanted to. That helps with the flow of traffic. But what I'm going to do is use this medium road for now. Well, let me take that back. Let me just use this normal small road. Sorry, I'm just totally all over the place. So I'm just trying to make that as close to the middle as possible in between these highway lanes. So then I'm going to go back and connect it here. And that makes a little bit of a very tiny intersection between the highway and the street. So I'm going to go back here. We're just going to continue this 2-lane road. I'm just going, you can see that we do have a little bit of some grids here. And I'm just going to go, I'm just going to do that for now. The next thing I'm going to do is try to figure out what the best thing to do with for a power source. So we have wind turbines and we have a coal power plant. Obviously, the coal power plant is more expensive. It also provides some more power. You can see there, power output is 40. And the wind turbine is 0 to 8 megawatts, depending on the strength of the wind. That's going to be really important too. So you can see here, this is the dark area. This is where the wind is very strong. So I'm just going to pay attention to the production, which is the maximum is 8 megawatts. So I think this might be a good spot to put my wind turbine. That was so weird. I placed down my wind turbine and then like my TV just turned off and then came back on for a second. So sorry about that. We do have a little bit of water here. I think this would be a good idea to place our water pumping station. Just because if we did place our sewage here, this is a small lake. It's not going to be a good idea to place the sewage line right there. It's just going to make a very dirty lake. So I think that's what I'm going to do. There's also the water tower. That comes in handy if you don't have much water in your map to start off with. So I'm just going to place that there. Now we do have 2 different sewage outlets. This one is the normal one, the water drain pipe. This comes with the base game, and it's the cheapest. The next one is the Eco Water Outlet. It's a little more expensive, but it does help purify some of the water that's being let out. So it's really up to you which one you want to use. What you could, if you aren't sure which one to use, you could look at the drain capacity here. So the drain capacity is actually lower than on the normal water drain pipe. So to me, the water drain pipe is definitely more economical, and it also has a higher drain capacity than the Eco one. So that's the one I'm going to go with. I'm just trying to place it Let's see. I guess we could place it here. I think that would be fine. So when you're placing these, you do have to connect them, and they both require electricity. So I'm just going to try to connect it, and I'm trying to place it underneath my road as much as possible. And I'm just going to connect my power. Hopefully that's enough there. Now, before we start placing a ton of power lines, I do want to kind of try to come up with a little bit of some grid planning here. So obviously this is going to be our main drag for the city. This road will eventually need to be upgraded as it becomes more populated and more traffic is present. So I'm just trying to figure out whether I want my industry on this side or if I want my industry on this side. I think maybe it might be a good idea to just place it on this side. I think that would be okay. I don't really have much of a reason for that other than there is more forestry over here. We have our sewer line right here. And obviously our residents aren't going to want to be close to that sewer line. So that's my reasoning for that. Another trick we can do is we can implement this 2-lane gravel road. Obviously that would need to be upgraded as well. But right now I think I do want to at least have this normal 2-lane road here. And then we can kind of start thinking about putting in the gravel road. I think I like to kind of use the grids as much as possible, just to kind of have a little bit of a guideline on what I'm placing down. So you can see how quickly the roads add up. We're already at 46,000. 46,000. So let's see here. I guess I can start on my gravel. Now, you can see, so like these grids here, they're telling you the maximum amount of space when your buildings are populated. So you might want to pay attention to those. And obviously this is not like the most ideal placement, so you can see, wait, before I delete that, you can kind of see some squares here are a little bit off. So like, let me just go back here. Alright, so most ideal placement would be that right there is probably the absolute max you can have, where there's no spaces in between. So this is, I mean, I'm not going to say that this is ideal. It just depends on how you want your city to be. So if you don't care too much about there being any space in between your buildings, this is totally acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and zone that for industrial because I know I'm going to use that for industrial. But another thing too is that when you are placing like buildings on these main drags, so let's say like if you did want to place something down, I'm not going to place this down, but let's say I was going to place this down. It might be smart to leave this one little row in between this road here and then the road that is going perpendicular. Just because in the future, if I want to expand that road, there needs to be space there. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you are placing down buildings. I hope that makes sense. It probably didn't make sense, but it's so hard to like talk and like build stuff at the same time. So you can see here that there's that little bit of space right there. Okay. Now another thing you want to keep in mind too is when you are zoning, usually you want to have your commercial in between your industry. That will be good for like when your little residents they go to work and then on their way home they might want to stop for groceries or whatever they want to do and then go home. Okay, so I feel like I haven't done much. I'm just going to kind of keep doing this here. Okay, so now I'm going to place a little bit of commercial. We're not ready for commercial yet, obviously, but I just want to go ahead and zone this for commercial for the future. Okay, now let's go back and add some residential. So where would we want our residential? So there's a couple things that we could do. We could go ahead and place residential up here, or we could go and expand this way and place residential there. It's really, I don't know, it's kind of a matter of preference. I feel like this main drag here is going to have, our fire, our police, things like that. And then maybe we could just put our residential over this way. I don't know. We still have 40,000 left, so let's just start over here and then we'll see what we can do a little bit later on. With my residential zones, I really like to have some space in between. I'm just trying to think a little bit as far as how I want all of this to be laid out. I know I want this area to be commercial. But then I think I want this area in between here to be where I would have schools and parks and things like that. Okay, now I can finally can finally go back and put in my water. There. Okay. There we go. This down here. It's not quite underneath the road, but I think it'll be all right. Let's see. Do I want it to go this way? Okay, yeah, I think that'll be good. So I'm just going to leave that like that for now. Now we gotta add our power lines. So the power lines are a little bit tricky too. It's kind of like I sort of try to follow the road, but I also try to plan for. I also try to plan that they will, go away eventually. See, I don't like how that cut that off there, but it'll be okay for now, I guess. Okay, now let me continue with this. Sorry, I feel like I'm like mumbling. Okay, let me add in my residential. I think that's pretty good there. And I just want to kind of continue this sort of pattern. I honestly didn't count how much this was, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's right. Okay. It's kind of funky, but we can do it. Now, and this is another thing too. So obviously we have these rocks here. We can either get rid of those. They will automatically be bulldozed if I place this here. Or we can try to work with them. I think I want to try to work with them just to give a little bit of character to this little town that we're starting. I'm just going to speed up my time a little bit as my little buildings are being populated. So we're already losing so much money, but oh, have to fix our sewage line. This is I'm not sure if this is going to work here. I might have to put in another row. Let's see. We'll see how that does there. And then I think I have, yeah, I gotta add a little bit more of water there. Okay. Now we can, need to let that populate. And maybe I was trying to hold out on building a power line. Well, oh well. I think I'm just gonna have to do it. Suck it up and do it. Oh, Okay, so now our commercial and industry are being populated. I guess I'm just gonna have to add this here. This looks awful, but I'm just gonna have to do it. Okay. Now our little people can go to work. That didn't save any money. Eventually we'll start seeing some cars. There we go. So, our little people are moving in. I love how they like tailgate each other. I like watching them get out of their little cars and start walking. This is a good way too. Like, you can kind of see the natural flow of traffic that they have. Another thing we want to keep in mind is the intersections. Let me see if I can show that really quick. So right now there are no intersections. There's no lights, no stop lights or stop signs. Um, those will gradually be added as more connections and more as more roads are being upgraded. But it's just something that should be kept in mind. Um, as the game progresses and as there's more traffic and more population. So let's look at our electricity. We're gonna need another wind turbine. Okay, so we're around $11,000, but we are making a profit, which is really good. The one thing about industry is the pollution that it makes. I think I can look at that now. Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously not a lot right now, but as this grows, it's gonna get more brown. And you can see our sewage is making some ground pollution there too. Okay, so it looks like we do need a little more industry, so I'm just going to add another block. Trying to remember when the first milestone is. Okay, 480. We're almost there. And once we reach those population milestones, more buildings will be unlocked. There will be usually there's like a monetary value that's given, so you can have a little bit of a reprieve. So yeah, definitely want to make those milestones. Just going to kind of zoom in a little bit. You can see our little neighborhood. Got a lot of tall trees in this map. You can see, oh, it's starting to rain. And we reached our first milestone. So with this milestone, we have taxes, garbage, healthcare, education, medical clinic. We got a recycling center, landfill, and a community school. The community school is not on the base game. It's from the Green, I believe it's from the Green Cities DLC. But everything else, I believe, comes with the base game. Or I'm not sure if the recycling center comes with the base game. That might be from the Green Cities DLC. So let's see what we have now. Okay, so now we have 33,000. That's great. We have a profit of over $1,000. And the first thing I'm going to do, I just pause the game just a little bit because I know it's going to ask me to plop down some garbage or landfill. So we have the option of doing the landfill or the recycling center. Now the recycling center is 16,000. That's kind of a lot. Kind of a lot. But the landfill site is much cheaper, but it does create pollution while the recycling center doesn't do that. So we've got to keep those things in mind. It's really up to you on which one you want to choose. I really like having the recycling center. It does create, I feel like it creates some pollution, but obviously not as much pollution as the landfill site. But also other things to keep in mind is the healthcare. That's 10,000, and then you have the elementary school. That's another 10,000. So it's kind of giving you just enough to place these buildings down. So you know what? I think I am going to go with the landfill for now. This is another thing too about this landfill site. If you plop it down, you are not able to move it unless it's emptied later on. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Since we are going with the landfill site, I think I'm going to move it as far away as possible. And I'm just putting it on this gravel road. I don't think it really matters necessarily. I guess I could just make it like a small road. Is that the normal one? What's the two, this one? Okay, I guess I can do that. I don't think the landfill site needs electricity, but it might need water. Let's see. Oh, I guess it doesn't need anything. Well, that's cool. Okay. Another thing too, so you can see here for our elementary education, we only have 77 kids right now. We could go ahead and place this down, or we could wait a little bit till we get some more kids. I'm just going to wait just a little bit. We don't have any sick citizens right now, which is good, so I'm not going to place this clinic down yet either, but I am keeping this in mind that I do want to place it right here in between our commercial and residential zones. I'm just placing a little bit more. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and add in another turbine. I don't think I need these power lines here now. That's good. And let's go ahead and look at the budget really quick. So, one thing I like to do is go ahead and bump up the industry and the commercial for the budget just a little bit. I like to place my roads at as the lowest possible. I think the road maintenance is really for, what is that for? It might be for the snowfall DLC. I feel like, which I don't use. I mean, it's only necessary if you're using a snowy map, which we're obviously not using. We can also bump up our electricity if we are kind of maxed out, or we don't have enough money to place another wind turbine, that's an option. And then also we could either lower this a little bit, looking at our water and sewage. And we don't really have any education or any health care yet. I think I'm going to leave all of this at 100 for now, since we are making a profit. Oh, right, I forgot. These people need some water. Look how perfect that is. Okay. This is saying there's not enough workers. Hopefully we get some more people in here. Just going to add that for future. That is some loud thunder. Goodness. Okay, I'll add that a little bit, that little spot there. Okay. Let's see. I guess I will... Let's see here. I feel like I could add that there, but, yeah, I guess I could go ahead and we'll just kind of expand this way. Was that how? That wasn't how it was. Hold on. Uh-oh. This may be an instance where we might want to go ahead and consider the coal power plant, but I'm going to try and stick with my wind turbines as much as possible. Just going to add... Let's see if I can add another 8. Okay. Now let's see about our education. Okay, we're at 1... Oh! We got another milestone. So we have another area we can expand. We've got districts, policies, another loan, potentially. District specializations, we've got our emergency and police. Unique buildings, some industry industry specializations, and we have some residential specializations. These are from the Green City DLC pack. We also have some new policies and a high capacity elementary school, so that's cool. I'm going to go ahead and plop down an elementary school. I think I'm going to, I'm trying to figure out where I would want this place. I think this might be good. this might be a good spot for our fire, but I want to make sure it's on a good road. So I'm going to expand this gravel. Okay. And let's see. I think I'll just place our police right next to our fire. Okay. Now obviously we need a little bit more residential. All right. Yep, we need some more workers. I don't think I'm going to expand my road anymore this way. Just going to put my homes there. Now I think we can remove that line there. And let's see here. Where? Okay. Let's just okay, we can add that there. Now I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit more residential in here. Okay, I will stop at 1500. That's our next milestone. Okay, let's see. How do we get there? Just going to continue my pattern here of going down 4. I think that's right. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, not that. All right. Now, while that is working, another thing we can consider is placing some more commercial um, kind of in between our residential. Oh, it just pops up. All right, so we're at 1500. This is what we have. We have industry areas, pedestrian areas. That is part of the park and plaza. I think it's called, or no, plazas and promenades DLC. We also have landscaping capabilities, leisure, so that's like the parks, industry area, football. We have some new policies for our districts, and so maybe on the next episode we can talk about districts and implementing policies. We also have a lot of new roads, so that's cool. We also have some canals, which I have not really used a whole lot. Not great at those. And then we have a lot of parks and more high school, the library, lots of stuff. So I'm going to end it with that, guys. We will continue this in the next episode. We can kind of talk a little bit more about planning, districts, and policies. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.